Hello, Aldwyn Altuney here. Welcome to Media Queen TV. We have a fantastic show lined up for you, an amazing guest all the way from Sydney. Annie Gibbins is with us in the studio here today from Sydney. Just come out of lockdown. Yay, fantastic. And excellent. And the topic today is a fantastic one. The topic is how to achieve success, balance and happiness in life and business. So before we chat with Annie, I just want to let you know a little bit about this amazing lady. She is an internationally recognized CEO, thought leader, speaker, success coach, #1 best-selling author, director, podcast host, and founder. Her academic and professional accolades over the past 30 years include growing and transforming health and education businesses across Australasia. She's a Master of Education. She has a Bachelor of Nursing, Lean Six Sigma, Certificate 3 Fitness, and a MAICD. Not quite sure what that is, but we'll get to it. And all this has been achieved simultaneously with her career as a mother of 2 sets of twins plus 1, 5 children. Amazing. Welcome, Annie.
Thank you so much. It's so great to be with you, Aldwyn.
So great to have you here.
Exhausting, doesn't it? Exhausting.
Oh, my goodness. You have been one busy lady. And what is an MAICD? What does that stand for?
Oh, that's just a member of Australian Institute of Company Directors. So if you're going to be a director in a company, you definitely want to do their course because it shows you what all your legal requirements are and, you know, how you really need to step up and lead well.
Got it. Amazing. 2 sets of twins. And that was natural, was it?
Yeah, that was natural. And that was a burst into parenthood because I got married at 20 and then I had twin boys at 23 and then twin boy girl at 25. So I had 4 kids in 26 years and then went, wow, this is going to make it hard to achieve my dreams, but never limit yourself, people. And and then I had one more, my last bubby. 5 years later, just to cap it off, just to go, wow.
Wow. And what was that like for you?
Crazy busy, but you know, it's also great when you're young and you know you're more flexible. Like I often look back now going, thank goodness I was so young because it was just one of those. It was actually just too crazy. It was funny. So we just had these babies everywhere, and 3 of them were boys. So it was just like full on world of Lego and noise and creative play, and just my gorgeous little girl just had to sort of find her way amongst all those boys. But you know what? It was fun. And it was our normal, and that's it. When you don't know anything else, I think if you have one and then you have twins after that, then it's like, oh my gosh. Whereas we just went, well, this is it. And you either embrace it and go with the fun in life, or you just go, oh my gosh, this is just too hard. And so we're a bit more on the glass overflowing type couple, which is probably very, very handy.
Yeah, amazing. I don't know how you do it. I mean, I must say I haven't had children. I have a cat that is 14 now. I adopted him 12 years ago, and he can be high maintenance sometimes. So I can just imagine what it's like 5 kids.
My kids never stop. You actually just get to the bed at night and go, oh my gosh, shoot, you know, is there a medal that we could put on our own little chest to survive another day? You throw in there times of 4 lots of chicken pox all at the same time, and it really does test that mental toughness. But then, you know, I've actually leaned on those sorts of skills. You know, your skills are so generic, right? And so juggling 4 kids at that age, you know, in quick succession. Seriously, when I then went to interviews at other stages of my life, and they asked me questions about my time management or my abilities in certain ways, and I'm thinking, compared to raising 2 sets of twins, like nothing's harder than that. So
yes. Amazing. And I can just imagine what dinner time and, you know, washing up was like every night as well. That would have been crazy.
Basically crazy, but everyone gets a task, right? And so you just you team up, do a lot of team. No one gets a free pass. Everyone gets a job to do. But you know, that's great, and it's a great skill in life that they've certainly never sort of taken things for granted. They've always said, you know, what's everyone's role, and I think that's a great place to be in life, right? That everyone contributes. It doesn't matter if you're the wee little bub or if you're the master and commander. You know, we're all on the journey together. So
yes. Absolutely amazing. What little miracles you've created. Well, obviously big
Mhm.
miracles now.
Yes.
So yeah, they how old are they now?
Oh, twins are 30 and 28 now. I know you could hear that in
Wow.
my bio. It's like, oh my gosh, how's she been doing this for 30 years? It's like, yep, that's why. So my twins are 30 and 28, and my youngest is 22 now, my baby. And I've got
Wow.
two little granddaughters who are 3 and new little bub 4 months old. So just so
Oh,
special. Yeah, it's beautiful.
adorable, adorable. Such a special gift. And we've got Peter with us. Hello, Peter. Great to see you live. He says, Peter Beckenham. And also he says, love the passion and enthusiasm. You guys are contagious together. Thank you. Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Peter. Thank you. And let us know where you're joining us from if you're watching this. Just let us know in the comments, whether you're watching this on Media Queen TV on YouTube or watching on Facebook. Let us know in the comments, where are you joining us from? And what's one thing you're grateful for today? We do have the Global Good News Challenge happening for October right now, and it's all about sharing gratitude and good news. So what's one thing you're grateful for? When you get into gratitude, you will shift your vibration. You will have a greater experience of life. Now, I must ask you, Annie, having children, did that drive you to become also successful in business?
Oh, yes and no. I think I always had that inner drive that I was one of those like late teens going, I'd love to be a businesswoman. I'd love to, I actually thought it was very glamorous. They got to travel and wear nicer clothes and sort of seemed to have their deal together better. And then I kind of went, well, I want that. And I always was a bit of a bossy girl going, wouldn't it be fun to just sort of manage people, hashtag make them do stuff for you? So I probably had that very distorted view. So obviously a drive there. And then when I had my 4 kids in quick succession, I did have those moments of, oh, this is going to be quite challenging to get that dream. But then it sort of all came together that I went, well, what if you can do it all your own way? And I certainly needed to pioneer my own way, right? Juggling 3 different degrees, around 5 kiddies, and crazy busy life and things
Yes.
like that. But, that's it. You either decide to go, well, things are too hard, or you do stepping stones. And so I think the combination, it's like, well, I want to do that to show my kids that, women can actually live their truth, follow their dreams, do it their own way, lead by example in that way. But then I also realized that, I also did have that inner drive myself anyway. And so it's a bit of a package, right? I don't want to sort of say I did it all for my kids. Not really. I did it for I think most ultimately you want to, do things because you're driven by, I was always very purpose driven, which is why I also do a lot of charity work now. It's finding yourself as you grow older and finding the right place to be positioned so that you can do what you do well, right? And getting all that balance, which is what we're talking about today as well. That's, well, what is success? What would that look like? What is the balance? Find that yourself, and then also then go ultimately what's going to make you a happy, healthy person.
Yes, absolutely. And gratitude is one thing that's going to make you a happy, healthy person. We've got Rob here from Tasmania. Hello, Rob. Grateful for my family, totally my soul groups. Very cool. And Peter is joining us from a remote little Thai village, and grateful for having such wonderful relationships with my private client family. Excellent. Thank you so much. And for those just joining us, let us know where you're from and what are you grateful for today. So, how to achieve success, balance, and happiness. Big topic. Everyone says they just want to be happy. I mean, gratitude, of course, is one of my easiest, quickest ways to be happy, is just get into gratitude. And it's actually, if you know about Dr. Hawkins' scale of consciousness, I actually been living by this lately. This diagram here is absolute gold. Here it is. And this talks all about our energy and frequency when we get into gratitude, right? Now, what's happening here is when you get into love, you're vibrating, over here, vibrating at 500 and above hertz, right? When you are at love and above, love, peace, joy, enlightenment. And when you're in fear states down here, in anger, shame, anxiety, grief, that's vibrating at 100 and below. In fact, the average person out there at the moment is vibrating between 75 to 100, right? And that's no coincidence, because the mainstream media and the powers that be, they want you living there because they can control you that way, right? So if you want to rise above the dramas, then it's important to learn what we're going to show you today. So what are some things you do, Annie, to achieve success, balance, and happiness in your life?
Well, now I do. I actually preface it by being grateful to start up with. So I love that, the way that you've actually started this on gratitude, because that's what you learn. You get to a stage and you just go, when I'm just grateful for just living, just breathing, just all the goodness, all the health and the wellness and family and things that I value, as, in society and around me, then I'm instantly in that, higher vibration level, right? Like I just feel like I'm set up well. I also I love the trilogy of that success, balance, and happiness, because they really do go together for me. So I actually
Yes.
try to find what I call the sweet spot in the middle, when you just get that balance. And that balance is going to be different for all of us, right? So for me, I actually go, okay, well, success, if I pour my whole energy into being successful, right? Which we all can tend to do. And that's when people just pour themselves so much into one area. And it could be business, it could be their sport, it could be a hobby, it could be anything, but you get out of whack, as we'll call it. In Australia, we'll say you get out of whack. And so what that can do is you can be so driven that it's just exhausting. You're not valuing all the other parts of who you are and what balances you. So then it's knowing, well, what is success? How are you going to measure it? What does it mean to you, and how do you determine it in your own way? And then balance is like, well, what is our balance? We've all got different levels of balance, right? So some people, a lot of people think of balance as being, a bit of a 50-50 kind of view, whereas actually not. For some people it's 70% being spiritual, right? It might be all this time on their extra sport or hobbies. It might be spending that time on their own health. We've all got different views of balance, but ultimately it's about what then makes you happy. You could be super successful in a certain area, you could be quite looking balanced in your life, but doesn't make you happy. So I think actually starting with the gratitude and the happiness, actually going, what does make me happy? And then if this is my happy state, like for me, it's actually being given the opportunity. I'm all about being more, achieving more, and earning more so that I can live my best life, right? That's what I live by. So how does that make me happy? Well, I'm happier if I feel healthy. I feel like I'm given freedom. I'm allowed to be creative. I, feel like I can get passionate about things that I'm super interested in. That to me makes me happy at the end of the day. When I've got my balance, when I've got success the way I determine success. So it's very much knowing what drives you, how you measure it, what it looks like to you, and then getting that little formula right. And when you're in it, I tell you what, life's actually easy. When you just then get into that flow state, I love that.
Yes.
And you go, oh my gosh, I'm not pedaling crazily. I'm allowed, I feel like I'm able to then just have those mindfulness moments. I'm more grateful for just all the little things. And life gets easier and easier while you actually achieve more. In essence, you can put yourself across a whole lot of different targets, but you're not measuring them. You spend less time comparing yourself to others, trying to get their approval. You just be, and it's a really great place to be.
Absolutely. Yeah. We often think, if we have something, then we'll do certain things, then we'll be happy. Or as if you reverse it
Yeah.
and say, well, if you be a certain way, then you will do certain things, then you will have the results. So it's starting with how you're being in life. And I love what Bob Proctor says. There's a great video he's got on YouTube where people have asked him, how do you know what your purpose is? And he says, well, to find your purpose, just do what you love every single day. Do as much as you can of what you love. So then it's getting back to, okay, so what is it that gives you joy? What is it that gives you that love? And there's so many things for me. I think, like I love going to the beach. I love swimming in the ocean. It's one of my favorite things to do is get into the ocean. I also love doing interviews like this. I love my work. I love speaking, and I'm definitely in flow. And another way to look at it is, what is it that when you do it, that time just flies? That it's like you go into this zone or this fifth dimension, and suddenly time goes out the window when you're so in the zone and so loving what you do. And that can be many things for many people, but just notice for yourself watching this right now, what is it for you that when you do it, you absolutely love it, that time just disappears. It's like you go into another world. Could be playing music for some people, could be getting creative, doing artwork. I know I feel like that when I do artwork too. I can just lose myself in artwork. And sometimes when I'm writing, I can lose myself in that as well, and just go off on in other places. So what are some of the other things for you, Annie, that you absolutely love to do?
Oh my gosh, I love hiking. I love the outdoors. So that's a place
Yes.
I'll go off for like 2 hours and then I'll come back like 5 hours in later. And everyone will be like, "Where is it?" And I'll go, "Oh, it's just on this amazing walk," and I just love it. You know, when you just go, "Oh, suddenly I'm not racing the clock. I'm just enjoying being," right? So I
Yes.
totally love just being in the outdoors, and just it can be anywhere, but I particularly love the Blue Mountains near Sydney. I just love, just feeling like you're even away. I love not hearing the noise of cars in the distance, and just really focusing in on beautiful things, looking for lyrebirds and beautiful flowers and things like that. So, and plus it also, I love being healthy. So I love being in a position that off the couch fitness, if suddenly someone says, let's go on an adventure here or there, like I've just done the overland track in Tasmania, and that was amazing in winter, which was pretty cool. There was hardly anyone on the trail, and it was pretty hardcore, but I loved it because for those things, it's nature, but it also allowed me to connect with people on a deeper level, which I really love, like-minded women who are into health and adventure and pushing themselves. And then I also had that sort of feeling of, oh, I'm so glad I've kept myself, I've nurtured my body, I've been healthy, I've done enough exercise so I could enjoy it rather than it being painful, right? So I think you're in that sweet spot when you it's not that hard. A lot of people I meet go, oh, that's right, I want to be, what's my why? And it shouldn't be too hard, because you should actually go, well, what do you love doing? That's like what you said, Aldwyn.
Yes.
Love what you do and enjoy it. And absolutely, it is true. It's not that hard. I mean, I do the same thing at work. I'm currently launching a big national fundraising campaign here for eye health for next year. And it's just so exciting. I love it. I love creating the campaign and promoting it and getting key stakeholders engaged. I can't believe it's actually my job, because I love it so much, and I can just get lost in time creating things and this, all those ideas and brainstorming. So you're in the right space when you do just go, oh my gosh, yeah, that's right, I forgot to eat lunch today. It's suddenly 3 o'clock because I've been in it. And that's a good thing, right? Because when we are so focused on, okay, I've got 20 minutes here or 30 minutes here or whatever, that's okay. It's very task driven, but you never really get into that amazing level of I think the creativity and the innovation and that pure joy actually comes in the moments of losing yourself in it. And definitely those people I know who are musicians and artists, oh my gosh, they will testify to that big time.
Yes.
And that's where the balance comes about too, though, is if you're like that all the time, you can then have other issues that don't get done. But then I also,
Yes.
the longer I'm around on this planet, I go, yeah, it's also knowing yourself there and feeling free to go, yeah, I outsource certain things, because if you're not a person who dots the I's, we'll get someone to help partner with who does, and you can work out those collaborations in business, in life, that actually do work out, so that you can be more in your flow state, and that's part of the balance as well.
Yes, absolutely. And I love the saying, if you find what you love to do or do what you love, then you never have to work another day in your life, right?
Yeah,
So,
so
if you can
true.
find a way to monetize what you love to do, which there's many different ways you can do that, and think creatively, think outside the box. And particularly at these times, people are launching all sorts of different businesses now, because partly out of necessity, I guess, because so many people lost their jobs, and things are changing so rapidly. So if you don't change with the times, you'll get left behind. And right now we have the biggest transfer of wealth from the poor to the rich going on right now. So, in every downturn, in every, global recession and financial crash in the past, there's always been people that have also made massive amounts of money, and that's that opportunity for everyone right now. For example, going online is a worldwide economy right now, taking your work online. So much opportunity. And the thing is too, with balance, it's interesting, because I think of, the wheel of life. You might have seen the wheel of life, and people, and people rate themselves out of 10 in relationships, in health, in business, in finances, spirituality. And usually what I find is that not everyone will have a complete round wheel, right? Like where you rate yourself 10 out of 10 in all areas. Sometimes if you're working more on business, something else may suffer a bit. Maybe your health will go down, or your travel will go down a little bit while you're focusing on that thing. So I guess, part of finding balance, I think, is also being okay with not having 10 out of 10 with everything, because I don't know if we'll ever be 10 out of 10 in all areas, you know. So you know, where do you draw the line there, Annie, on finding balance with that wheel of life, where, you know, people might be perfectionists and want to be 10 out of 10 in all areas, where it's just not, I believe it's not realistic, and it's you know, something's going to have to give somewhere, I believe, in some area, if you're focusing on another area. Like if you're pregnant, about to have a baby, then, you know, something's going to have to give somewhere else. You know, if you're, you know,
Absolutely.
like, I mean, as you would know, 5 times over, right? You would know there's going to be times that certain other areas are going to be lacking at times.
Yeah. I think flexibility, you know, with yourself and your schedule, I think we should be always reinventing ourselves anyway. I think we should always be growing. The person that you are now is not the person you were a few years ago, and is not going to be that future, because if we're all self-actualizing and just pursuing, you know, new areas that interest us, you know, that view that, you know, our life wheel is stuck in stone is wrong anyway. I think it's a very hard task to try and focus on that 100% in different areas, and definitely the perfectionists do fall down there, because it becomes that constant struggle. What I like to do is I actually have a bit of an 80-20 principle, that I like to go, am I happy with my 80% balance? Because then it allows me that 20% to do what I'll call spurts, or some people call them sprints in business. And that's necessary in all areas of life. You know, like if you're in business, you're then going to go, right, I'm going to really I've got this big project. I want to know I can really crank it up. And that 20% of that extra time, which might be on your work or you know, meetings or planning or whatever, you're happy to sacrifice. That 20 has to come out of some other areas of your life wheel, right? Because we've only got so many hours in the day. And so you're committed for a period of time on that sprint. And then, but then you also want to know that comes back, because now, I've got a little bit out of balance, and now I want to make sure that I have a bit of a pause here, because I want to make sure I do see my family, I do see my friends, I do value my health. I rejig where my balance is now, moving to that next step. So I found that really works. I had more of a 100% rule when I was younger, and going, okay, I want to be really great, I want to be the best friend ever, and I want to be the best wife ever, and best mom. And you just get this, you know, it's hard to maintain. You're constantly competing against this impossible dream, you know, whereas it's an amazing revelation that you actually go, oh my gosh, you're saying 80% is enough. Absolutely, anything is enough. You're enough just by breathing. And so that allows you just to go, give yourself a break. You know, actually 80, if your 80 is your perfect balance of not stressing yourself out, that's actually great, because you've then got room to move. And that's what I find, you know, when you're at 100%, think about it. One more thing overloads you. Like my 4 kids, my twins all then got chicken pox, or, you know, suddenly you're starting a new cycle. Suddenly someone's at a new school, you got travel, you got sports happening, you got this, that. Life happens. And then that's why we all fall apart. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm overmaxed, because you are already at 100%. So the 100% gives no wiggle room. And I'm all about wiggle room, because I think life requires you to be able to go, oh, okay, I can take something from some area and move it around a little bit.
Yes, I think that's a great idea, Annie. And I must say, you know, years of being a journalist and being in the media, it has been a lifetime of go, 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 one thing after the other. And it's interesting, in my business, often I tend to create that world. I create one thing up, appointment after appointment. And I think I'm Wonder Woman sometimes, and I can just whip it up just like that. And, you know, as often I can. However, what tends to happen with that kind of adrenaline lifestyle, and I know I'm not alone in this, right? I know there's a lot of people out there that live this kind of lifestyle, where you go, 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 and then crash, right? And then your body, you'll either get sick, or you'll burn out, or you'll get adrenal fatigue, or you just won't want to get out of bed. Or so that's where, you know, nurturing yourself and having non-negotiables, as a friend of mine said recently, have non-negotiables such as exercise 3 times a week, or, you know, get to bed by a certain time, make sure you get a certain amount of sleep per night. Because what can also happen in this adrenaline-filled lifestyle so many people are living is that people just don't sleep enough. And they say that, you know, one of the most important things we'll do is actually get at least 7 hours sleep a night, is what a lot of people say, 7.5 hours. And whereas I tend to average somewhere between 3 to 6 usually, right? So I I'm very conscious of that. So I make note of that, and I know, and then sometimes I'll sleep for 10 hours or 12 hours. If I really need to, if I feel I need to rest, I will just rest, so that's the thing, is really listening to your body as well, and, doing what you think is right for you, and noticing those patterns as well, noticing those go. And so I love that 80-20 principle.
Oh, thank you. And those patterns can creep up on you, right? You can just be so busy adding. And that's why,
Yes.
The amount of people who then suddenly go on holiday and then they're sick on their holiday. It's like they've finally given their body permission to stop. And then they come back to it and go, oh, such a shame I got sick. And I'm like, that's because you were so maxed out. That's right.
Yes.
You've got that. Your body has gone and said, finally, and I'm actually not well.
Yes.
So I think tips for what I try and do is now, instead of, because I'm aware of that, I actually go and I plan my calendar, assuming like I can be ridiculously busy. So I know that's not going to be a problem. So I actually do it the other way round now. I still book in my date night on Friday night with hubby of 34 years, who we make sure that we have that. I book in my time of exercise. I book in my Saturday morning hike with my girls. Like I actually go, what's the ingredients of my healthy balance, because I know what they are. And then I'll then go, okay, now I actually have extra time to book in other things. Whereas often we just go, we self-sacrifice too much, that we suddenly go, okay, well, I've got an open diary and there's like fill. And it's like, oh no, I didn't have time to sleep. I didn't have time to, have food. I didn't have time to just be. And that's, you can't maintain that for very long. And I don't think you should. You're not at your optimum self. That's the most amazing thing. The more and more I meet with successful people and I watch and observe, amazing. They've got time to read. They're big readers. They take time out. They're very health and wellness focused. All this stuff takes time, because they realize the advantage that when you're actually doing that, and I'm such a fan of this. I used to think you just can't take a break because, something wouldn't get done. And now I'm so cruisy, I achieve so much more. And I do. I take time out to be mindful. I take time out to exercise. I want to make sure that I sit while I eat instead of just on the run. Things like that. It's amazing. Like test the theory. You can actually, not that, what can we do it all? Kind of a way. Everyone can do it all. It's just finding your own balance, and that's the secret. It's what is your balance and how you're going to measure, and does that balance make you happy? And if it makes you happy and healthy, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. You'll thrive. You'll thrive in all the other aspects of your life. You'll be a lot more focused. You'll have clarity of mind. You'll be energized. You get into it. You enjoy it. You'll go, I can't believe people pay me for this, right? Or even if they're not paying you, go, I'm actually just passionate and I love it and it fulfills me.
Yes. I love that. So great. And we've got Peter saying, finding the right place and the balance is what it's all about. Absolutely, Peter. And for you, what is watching this right now? For those watching, hello, welcome. What is balance for you? What sort of things do you like to make sure you get done every week or put into your schedule, whether it's self-care or family time or doing things you love, whatever it is? What do you make sure that you make happen every week to find that balance for yourself? I'd love to see what you do. Rob says, trusting self. I love that. Anita, hello, amazing ladies. Hello, Anita. We're on Anita's live streaming.
Yeah, hi, Anita.
Sonia, she actually goes by Sonia, but Anita, Sonia on here. Sonia, great to see you. We actually met on Sonia's live stream, World Live Stream Summit. So thank you for that connection, Sonia. So happy to see you both. She says, yes, I start to create my balance in Bali. Nice. Oh, she's moving to Bali. That's right.
Oh, how exciting. Nice work. See, Sonia's finding her new balance. It's brave and it's bold. And sometimes that's exactly what we've been prefacing. It's actually going, you know what? I need a change. I need to recenter myself for my reasons, and that sometimes requires a geographical move. It sometimes requires a whole reset. Because if we rinse and repeat all the time, like, you got to be happy with that sort of formula, considering we do most by default, our thoughts, our behaviors, our actions. So well done, Sonia. You're going to love Bali.
Yay. Excellent. And yeah, well done. You're going to have fun there. I can connect you with some people over there. Balance for me this time is I have good sleep. Yes. And good sleep, it can vary for different people. Apparently, as you get older, someone said, 6 hours sleep for some people is okay. But then others, and I know Ariana Huffington did a book on this about sleep, and she says 7.5 hours is what you need. And then I've been to some sleep presentations with a group called Wenatex, and they were talking about that people sleep in 90-minute blocks. You actually have REM sleep. Your deep sleep happens 45 minutes into a 90-minute segment. So if you only have short amounts of time to sleep, do a 90-minute segment, a 3-hour segment, 4.5 hours, 6 hours, or 7.5, ideally, because that way you're getting that deep REM sleep. So these kind of things that are scientifically proven to show where we get deep sleep, ideally you don't want to disturb that deep sleep in a 90-minute cycle. And it's really interesting to know that, because I've actually tested it out at different times, and I find that when my alarm goes off at the 6-hour mark or 7.5-hour mark, or even 4.5-hour mark, 4.5 hours, 6 hours, 7.5, for me is better sometimes than 8 hours. 8 hours I can get even more tired, because it's right in the middle of a deep sleep segment, an REM segment of the next 90-minute cycle, right? If that makes sense. So if you sleep in 90-minute blocks, if you've got, if you want to nap, have a 90-minute nap, or, afternoon nap, or that's probably where siesta came from back in the day, have lunch and then have a 90-minute nap and get back to work in some parts of the world.
I'll tell you what, that can make you feel fantastic. My husband does it every day. He works from home, and he actually does go and have a little siesta and then cranks up again. It just works well with his body and his energy. And I'm like going, well, way to go. For some people, they'll go, I couldn't do that. I'll tell you what, there's some value in it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And Sonia's saying, thank you so much. Miss you both. Miss you, Sonia. You're amazing. She says, I need a koala lifestyle sleep. This is hilarious. The first live stream event I went on with Sonia, we were talking about koalas, and koalas sleep 20 hours a day, right? Oh. And I'm sure the rest of the time they're eating and they're probably making love for the rest of the, so, the koala lifestyle. So 20 hours a day of sleep. I mean, that's Sonia's into her 20 hours of koala lifestyle sleep. Good on you, Sonia. Probably catching up.
Yeah. I love it. My cat's about the same. Every time we just go, oh my God, she just wakes up, goes and looks at the bowl, then comes back on the couch, have a bit more sleep.
Yeah. Eat, sleep.
I think we've all got different energy. Yeah, that's right. What do they say? The eat, sleep, root and shoot off. Absolutely, I love it.
Yeah.
But we've all got different energies, right? And it's there's so much. There's natural organic energy that some people are just more highly charged. They don't need that much sleep, and that's okay. People worry about this as well, right? Like when you said you have less, I know I have less. I know other people need more, but it's just our biochemistry of what you actually need. So it's actually tapping into your body and then knowing what you need to be healthy and balanced. And sometimes you can do that and then just suddenly have a massive sleep on a weekend and just have a bit of a catch up. It's whatever works, and also how much energy are you putting out? If you're actually exercising and doing all of physical activity, then you're going to be tired, so I think it's finding once again your balance. What is your little recipe of success in the whole cocktail, and then just going with that. But yeah. Yes. I noticed that too when I had little kitties, those sleep cycles are absolutely true. And you want to encourage them to actually because that's why babies wake and things, in those little cycles, and they've got to learn to then just, get back to sleep and continue on. Because otherwise they've had their little nap and then they're up, and you don't want a live one at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's for sure.
Yes, that's for sure. That's particularly if you just got to bed at 1. So,
no. That's just a sleep cycle.
Yeah. Sonia says, but if I have a cute baby like Annie to play with, I don't mind not to sleep because I'll be happy all the time. Oh, that's so sweet.
That is so cute.
That's so sweet, Sonia. You're gorgeous.
Mm.
I'm loving this conversation. This is so cool. And success is not just money. It's not, of course, money gives you choices. Money is an energy, but success is not just a certain amount of money in the bank account, right? Success can be many different things to many different people. And what is success for you? Watching this right now, I'd love to see in the comments, what does success mean for you? What does success mean for you, Annie?
Oh, for me, it's the freedom to actually be able to, live the life that I want, the in a way that I would like to do that. So I live a life that I can, be authentically me, get passionate about the areas that I'm passionate about, be able to have enough time to be able to be there for people who are close to me when they need me, have the earning potential to then be able to have a lifestyle that I love. So for me, success is actually being able to get my balance to be able to reach my potential. If I feel that I'm given the opportunity or framework to be able to be living and breathing and achieving in the ways that makes me happy, then that's success, and that will look very, very different. So for me, that's right. I'll have many people who go and say, you do too much, but I thrive on that. I've got a podcast and I write books and I've got online platforms. I coach and I work for a charity, but I actually love that. And that to me isn't tiring because so I don't need a lot of quiet time. Other people do, and it's just as valuable. That's not successful. It's how you measure the success that's important, and knowing what you're chasing, right? So I think for me, it's been about knowing, well, okay, well, what does that success look like for me? It's working in a certain area, the people I meet, the opportunities I get to be able to be really thriving in my space and continually growing. Then I'm successful, because I feel like I'm happy in that, and I feel balanced in that, and I'm able to be given those opportunities. So I think it does, and I think that's a really great question to those listening in. Well, what is success? Rather than chasing it, so many people go, I want to be successful, but what is that? What does that mean? And a lot of the time it actually isn't financial. It can be, financial, but it actually can be that you're successful because you've achieved, something that you're wanting to achieve. For example, one of my sons has married a girl who's Korean, and his twin sister is currently learning Korean so that when they have children, she'll be able to speak to them in Korean. And I'm like, how cool is that? So she's doing this future plan, and she's like, that's right. If you ask her, well, what would be successful in that? It's like, oh my gosh, how cool would that be, Mom, when, they have kids and their Auntie Hannah can talk to them in their second language. And I'm like going, that is amazing dedication, and it's heart driven, right? And so there's no financial gain from it, but it's just going to be one of those things that, and she can do. She also then learned, she's a teacher, and she learnt sign language so that if and when she has a child who is deaf, she'll be able to also speak in sign. I'm like, amazing. What a beautiful soul, And so there's, once again, no financial goal. It's because I can, and because it interests me, and therefore she will feel happiness and joy, right? Because she can actually do that. So they all intertwine, right? It's just, I find that fascinating when you actually look at success. It is such an interesting topic because we'll all interpret it in a different way. And some people are chasing something that they don't even know what they're chasing. And they are the ones who actually strive and then go, oh my gosh, I didn't actually feel happy. Because sometimes you chase this target and you get to the end and you go, oh, it wasn't quite the buzz that I thought. Probably because they didn't think about would it make them happy. Which is a learning curve. Well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's a lot to be said for the power of now, the Eckhart Tolle book, power of now, the power of presence. And for me, success is enjoying every single moment in life, even when it's challenging, right? Actually savor it and enjoy and learn the lessons from whatever is coming your way or whatever you're creating, manifesting, if you take 100% responsibility for your life, right? Yeah. Because, as they say, things happen for us, not to us, right? So learning all the time, growing, evolving, lapping up life, even just, taking a moment and just appreciating nature. As you say you love to bushwalk. It's one of my favorite things. I used to love going down Wakehurst Parkway down to Manly Dam Reserve, just up the road from you when I was a kid. We used to be neighbours when I was in North Bagala and you in Seaforth. I really miss Sydney, and I feel for everyone in Sydney and Melbourne who've been in these crazy lockdowns. I really feel for you, and I do really value the fact that, Annie, you are so vibrant considering the lockdowns there, where a lot of people will not be handling it so well. And so this is the thing for me also. Success is being able to enjoy life no matter what is happening around you that you can't control. And I can see that, Annie, you are someone who does that. You know, you take responsibility for your life, and you are going to create it the way you want to create it, regardless of what is happening out there in the world, and regardless of these lockdowns and limits of freedoms that is happening by government, etc., and the things that we don't like out there, right? Well, is actually looking for the gift in, look for the gift in that, right?
And there is a gift in that, you know, and that's incredibly challenging for those globally. We've just been released this week after 14 weeks of lockdown. I mean, it's just such a long time. And so that's it. You can just go, oh my gosh, like I haven't been able to do all these things. But if it's that or nothing, then I've got a problem. Whereas I actually saw it as, okay, you know, I've written, you know, actually 4 ebooks, and I've created a new course. I'm currently having a self-love month on my platform. I'm doing all these things. I'm spending more time with my little granddaughters. I'm going, okay, I then have to bend that life wheel, right? I actually go, okay, well, where's my opportunities here? So I think in any situation, I'll go, okay, well, I need to now go and build and grow and then also catch up on things that I haven't had time before when I've been traveling and doing other things. I can then go, okay, well, I will be available for, you know, pick up my granddaughter from daycare, you know, in the afternoons and have an extra hour with her a day. Like, how beautiful is that? I won't get that opportunity once things all get back into my previous norm. Or I might now need to reassess, because I suddenly, as you have these other experiences, you then get a new balance and go, okay, well, I actually really enjoyed that. How can I adjust my day now? So that's where I love this assess and monitor, you know, and just go with the flow of, even in the worst situation, because it is the pits, staying, you know, going, oh my gosh, we're only allowed to go for an hour a day within 5 kilometers of your house. It's kind of like, oh, you get sick of that same little circle and you're not allowed to see anyone. But you either decide to go, okay, well, that is terrible and it shuts you down, or you go, yeah, that's really challenging, so I'm going to use my time wisely. And you can still grow. The amount of people who've just been reading new books, discovering new things, you know, spending time with family, having games nights, doing different things. It has been also a period of real reawakening and real reassessment of our balance. And I think that actually has been a good thing. So, yeah, so I am still bright and bubbly after 3.5 months of shutting us down. But, you know, I'm one of these people who just says, you know, I think there is always opportunity everywhere, and it's about just making sure that your eyes are ready to see them when they're right in front of you. You know, sometimes we have such a fixed view of it's going to be over there or some other place or someone else has it. I think we'll be surprised. Business and life opportunities are everywhere.
Yes, I love the saying, slow down to speed up. You know, and this is what's happened in some cases, you know, when people have been in these forced lockdowns. It's, in some ways it's slowing down, in other ways you'd be speeding up. It's amazing the number of books and courses are being launched online, the amount of people enjoying time with family now and playing new instruments and doing things that they've wanted to do for a while that they haven't done. Now they have time to do those things. So you can either look at it that way, or you can just drink yourself silly and get depressed and suicidal. I mean, they're your 2 options, you know, either go down the gurgler and live in, you know, fear and anger and sadness, or you rise above it and go, okay, well, isn't this interesting? And you know, isn't this interesting? And now what am I going to create for my life in this moment? And it's a moment by moment decision. It's the more you come into that joy and gratitude, the greater experience of life you will have, the better opportunities you will attract to yourself and your business and whatever you're up to, and you will be happier. Right? You will be happier if you love what you do.
Be happier. Yeah. And if you have always said you're going to do something and you haven't done it during lockdown, well, ask yourself why. You know, was it something that you thought other people said you should do and that's why you haven't done it? Or what is your reason? So it's an opportunity to stop, you know, because I think now if you haven't done that big task that you thought you'd do and you've had extra time, then there's so many questions for that on both sides. You know, is it society? So society puts so many expectations on us, right, that we just absorb by default of, oh, I should do this or whatever. And you don't have to do anything. So it's a real opportunity to sometimes go, okay, well, that's right, I've always had that on my list and now I'm going to flick it, because if I haven't done it now, it's obviously not driving me. It's obviously not something I should do. I can actually let it go. And that's freeing
Absolutely.
straight away.
Yes, absolutely. And if there's something you've been procrastinating around, perhaps it's time to outsource that thing and find someone who loves that thing. Like for me, it's accounts, right? I hate doing accounts. It's one of those things I've just put off and put off, until it's like, okay, I really have to get onto this. And now I've been looking for a bookkeeper and changing accountants and just looking to let that go, and find someone else to do all of that, because it's just not my flow to do that stuff. It just does not
someone else
interest
will
me.
love doing it, right?
Someone else will love doing it.
Someone else
So
loves it.
learning to let go has been a big one, particularly if you're a bit of a control freak. And I know that, as much as I hate to admit it, I think I've been a bit of a control freak. And I think probably a lot of people in business love to control things. And also we have this lone wolf perfectionist thing as well that can go on, right? Where it's like no one else can do it as good as me. But actually, if you let go, you might find they might actually do it better than you. And maybe you're in the way of your own business success.
Yes, and that's a whole other topic that we can talk about. It happens
Yeah.
a lot of time. People are going, oh, okay. She thinks she needs to do it all, but
yeah, time to get out of your own way, right? Often in business, it's about the team, and I've been learning that slowly but surely in my life. That's for sure, because at the end of the day, life is about relationships. It's about one on one makes three. Obviously, having the right team, the right environment around you, where you're going to lift each other up, where you have a positive vibe. Obviously, have negative people pulling you down. Well, that's not very healthy for anyone. And the thing to remember too is that hurt people. Okay, so if anyone's being nasty right now, and we've seen it with what's happened with the freedom rallies and the police protests, and it's been interesting actually. I just watched an interview yesterday with the senior police officer in Melbourne that stood down and that came out and talked about what's happening. She's 16 years in the police force, lady called Crystal. You might have seen the interview, went pretty viral in the last few days. And very interesting that she's saying that, that a lot of these police officers on the front line, they don't want to be doing the jobs that they're doing right now. Like they didn't sign up to keep people socially distanced and to stop freedom rallies and to fine people for not wearing masks. They didn't sign up for that, right? And now they're forcing them to take the jab, and a lot of these police officers and people in the health industry are not wanting to take it. And whether you do or not, that's up to you. But there's some really interesting things going on out there, and it's unfortunate that a few police officers who've been violently shown in online and offline media, and a few violent protesters or freedom ralliers, you get the good and the bad in both, right? You get those that are violent, and you get those that are just there to keep the peace and to be heard about, what their opinion is. And so it's really interesting times at the moment. So this police officer was talking about it and saying, well, you've got the minority of the police that are going to do the wrong thing, and the minority of the freedom ralliers that are also going to do the wrong thing. I say wrong thing as in violence towards others. I don't. Yeah. I'm not for violence in any way. I think it's very important that we can all say what we need to say and be heard and be polite and to the point without being rude, right? And I think this kindness towards self and others right now, I think this is one of the most important things on the planet, that we learn compassion for ourselves. You said you're doing a self-love project at the moment. Love for self, love for others. And where does that come from? All that love, my girlfriend said, all that love you have for others is there for you too. Right. Yeah. So fill your own cup up to help others with the overflow. So what are some things that you do to fill your cup up, Annie, with that self-love?
Oh, I try and just value the person I was born to be, right? It's actually saying, if you see yourself as a gift, we're all born to be our own unique self. So no, it's not selfish. It's not saying you're better than anyone else. But for me, I just go and say, okay, well, if I was born onto this planet, it's actually about nurturing the essence of who I am, right? For me. So I'll go, okay, well, therefore I need to consciously just be kind to myself. The words I say to myself, the way I speak to others, things that I'm mindful about, having gratitude, exercising, just looking after myself as the way I would, I'm a heart warrior. So the way I love other people, why wouldn't I immediately love myself in that same sort of way, right? And so that I used to think, I don't want to be on myself. So I sort of just pour all my love onto other people. But I'm like going, but then it also can then drain you and sometimes make you feel, resentful because you don't want, you're doing things that you don't want to do. So I suppose my view on self-love is actually saying I want to value the body and the essence of who I was born to be and treat myself really well and nurture myself so that I can then be in the best position to, thrive personally, build businesses, and also then, be a philanthropist, involved in charities, help others. It's sort of just, it makes sense to me. The more I invest in self-love, the more I actually think it actually helps me so much be a better human being. And definitely those people I've coached to do so, they're like, oh my gosh, it's such a different, I never thought I could actually see myself, treat myself in this way. I think your whole world changes. And I coach corporate women to, achieve senior corporate roles and on boards and bits and pieces. But at the essence of all of that is self-love. How do they treat themselves? How do they speak to themselves? How do they value themselves? A lot of foundations all on your self-worth. And if you don't treat yourself well, then why would anyone else treat you better? And why would, how can you then give out your best to anything else that you're involved in? So I think it's the essence of everything, actually.
Absolutely. And I have my love heart here to remind us to have that love for self and others. And one thing I love to do is look at myself in the mirror, look at myself in the eyes and say, I love you. I truly, truly love you. And mean it, right? Mean it. Now, this is a challenge I put to you watching this right now, to actually look yourself in the eyes, in the mirror, and say, I love you. I truly, truly love you. Instead of, as most people will do, is pick out the flaws. Oh, I've got more wrinkles or gray hairs or, like these things. It's easy to pick on the things that you don't like. But how about let's just turn around and appreciate the things that you do like about yourself? Like, how about your resilience? Yeah. The fact you have a fully functioning body, that you're alive. You've beaten 1 in a billion other swimmers to get to the finish line just by being born. Right? Yeah. You are extraordinary. You're here for a reason, those watching us. And thank you so much for your comments. Sonia's saying here, freedom. She loves this freedom to be ourselves. She loves that, Annie. And Sonia says, success for her now still needs to be measured with money. So I know what I do works out, which means I don't waste time and energy like in the past. Okay, because we asked earlier, what is success for you? And if you've just joined us, what is success for you? Pop into the chat. And what are you grateful for today? And where are you joining us from? Where are you joining us from right now? Rob, thank you. Love this great show. Love the positive vibes to you both. Have shared your positive vibrations to my page. Oh, thank you, Rob. Appreciate that. Of course, if you like. Thank you, Ro. If you like what you see, please comment, like, share the love. Share the love. We love that. Christiana, great to see you. Christiana Tudor. Annie, you're such an inspiration to so many women globally. Oh, that's beautiful. She says, mindset is indeed everything, and it's up to us to identify opportunities in every context. Yes, absolutely. Hurt people indeed. Yes, absolutely. That's right, Christiana. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You must prioritize your health and well-being to be able to serve others at the highest level. Absolutely, Christiana.
Absolutely.
You are spot on. And Sue, great to see you. My mantra is every day, in every way, I get better and better. I love that too. That is a great mantra. Every day, in every way, I get better and better. What are your mantras watching this right now? Do you have a favorite mantra, Annie?
I actually just wake up and go, Annie, be you, be the essence of you. And I know that's sort of really simple, but it is. It's actually going, don't, because I found that I've had challenges in other parts of my life, and we've all had those sorts of challenges of trying to be who do people want me to be, or trying to play down, your quirkiness, and it's too lively, too this, too that. And then, so now it's for me, it's like, Annie, just do you, be you, and I love that, and it's these simple things that actually make a massive difference. My self-love month, I've been amazed by, yesterday's one was actually just look in the mirror and highlight 3 physical features that you love. And that's actually one of the hardest challenges. We're up to day 11 or 12, yes, and there are people responded to that one the most. It was actually really hard. And I thought, wow, that's amazing. Just really just to spend time and actually look for value rather than sort of going, oh, well, I don't like my nose, or I don't like this, or more, I don't know. It's like you change the default from the negative to the, girl, You know, I had to do it to myself. Yeah, I'm rocking my long, luscious hair. You know, I'm enjoying my little high cheekbones. I mean, I love my friendly smile. Whatever it is, you just go, yeah, I'm actually okay about that. Learn to lean in and love, because yeah, that's right. When you're pouring that love back, it just makes a big difference. And you can have a giggle, about some of the funny things, even if you feel uncomfortable doing it. As we practice, leaning into that self-love, you'll get better at it. And other people will notice. They'll just see a real glow in you, going, you look happier in yourself. That's what they'll say. They'll go, you just look, I can tell you look happier in yourself. You're more comfortable in your own skin. When people start saying things like that, you're in the right place.
Yes, absolutely. Or when they say, I've noticed something different about you lately. I've noticed something different,
Yeah,
right? Like I've
exactly.
been doing a bit of quantum work lately, and working with a guy called Dr. Espen, and he's amazing. And just getting in the quantum field and realizing, really getting that, we're spiritual beings in physical bodies, and just getting the power that we are as human beings, as connected, united human beings. Although, as human beings, often we are taught, to it's about divide and rule, about this fear-based world that we live in with the evil people that run the world. I do truly believe there's a war between dark and light going on right now, with the light forces and the dark forces. And the more you come into your light, the more synchronicities happen, the more things just fall into place. All these opportunities come your way and it's like the fifth dimension happening now. Like, this is not just the 3D world anymore. This is about rising above it. This is about light workers coming out. It's about truth seekers, truth speakers. It's about shifting the vibration on the planet. And the more that we individually step into that light and embrace that light and love that is within and all around us, we will shift, thousands of people around us. With every person that shifts, I think it shifts about 5,000 others or something. So it's a huge shift that can happen, and it starts from within. So it's tapping into that inner and outer energy. That's where meditation is really powerful. And a lot of really successful people meditate, right? They find they tap into that spiritual core of whatever that is for you. It's not about religion. This is about, tapping into this universal love and energy and divineness that is within and all around us. And actually, when you get into compassion and kindness and self-love, you also have that love for others. And as we said earlier, hurt people. This is what we're seeing. A lot of people are hurting right now. And so what do you do with those people? You send them love, right? Send them love and compassion. You don't have to hang out with those people. Sometimes they're family, so just maybe minimize your time with those people and say what you need to say in a loving way, because generally everyone, most people are doing the best that they know how to do, right?
Absolutely. We're all on our own journey in our own time. And so no judgment, just give back love and just keep following your own space. And the most amazing thing is, once you're in that state that you actually are, going to that higher level, you then attract people who, that's right, that positives attract, definitely. And so you then, and you also know what you don't like. I think it becomes clearer. The more aligned you are in your true essence, the more that you suddenly, things come into your space and you go, oh, that doesn't feel right. It's a stronger repel, I think, for the things that don't align to you when you're in that state. And I think that's really important.
Yes, the easier it is to say no to things, the more in alignment you are with what you actually want, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you could just be like a ball in a pinball machine, going here, going there, going from here, and being a people pleaser. I know I've certainly had that going on in the past, being a people pleaser, and what can happen is you deplete yourself if you're not honoring yourself in that. So it's also being able to give to yourself and filling your own cup up, as we said. So Sonia says here, nice mantra, hocus pocus. It happens to all of us. I think that's every day in every way. Get better and better. Get better. And Christiana, Hannah's video was such an inspiration. Hannah's video.
Hannah posted a video on my platform yesterday of, just that confronting feeling of looking at yourself in the mirror and going, do I have to pick three? I'm like, yeah, pick three. And so hers was really funny. And she ended up saying, well, okay, I love my eyes, and they were given to me from my dad. And then I love my smile my lips, because I've got good lips. And then you could see her going, and then finally, I've got great fingernails. And I love it. It's like, yeah, sometimes you go, oh my gosh, like, why can't I find 3 things? Like, how hard is it? But and at the end of it, she's like, I can't believe how hard that was. But I go, yeah, but now you go, I've now got 3. And so tomorrow you could probably look for 1 more, and just keep, you don't have to get it all nailed. Even if you got 1 thing, for those people who are really struggling and listening in, find 1 thing. Go and look at yourself and go, okay, 1 thing, what 1 feature. And it's not about beauty. It doesn't have to be beauty. It can just be some physical feature that you're happy you've got. We've all got a smile. We've all got, beautiful features. It might be skin. It might be you got an awesome chest. We'll own it, girls. It might be just, that you've, for a bizarre reason, you've got a flat tummy or you've got a big butt and you love it, or whatever it is, make it your own, right? If that's what you're living in, love your own skin with all its little quirky ways. And then it's about the language to start telling yourself that. You go, I'm okay with that. If I'm not okay with some parts, then let it motivate me to change. If it doesn't motivate me to change, then learn to love the skin you're in, right? And Hannah's video, it was funny. It was really funny. And well done. Well done for people pushing themselves, right? Pushing themselves to take that journey. That's it. Just step into it. Sometimes the first is that hard. This is the hardest step.
Yeah, absolutely. 50% of anything you do is just starting, right? And Christiana says here, and her smile. Hannah said her smile she liked. She said Hannah is beautiful inside and outside, such an inspiration.
Oh, there you go. See, we're sharing this globally. Go the love.
I love it. I'm going to have to check Hannah out now and see what this video is about. I have to pop the link.
Hair too. I would have gone for the hair. She's got rainbow hair. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you, Christiana, for sharing that. And she says it is so important to see our inner beauty that is reflected on the outside. Yes. So true, so true. And Sonia says here, now my mantra for our coaching universe is inspire to succeed. Oh, I like that. Inspire to succeed, Sonia. Nice one. I know it's hocus pocus and it's working more when we make it hocus pocus.
Hocus pocus.
Working more when we make it hocus pocus.
I love you, Sonia.
That's funny. That's funny. Well, thank you for those lovely comments, and keep popping them in there. Where are you joining us from? What are you grateful for today? That is an immediate mood shifter. What are you grateful for today? Now, did you know, Annie, that we have 60,000 thoughts a day? 90% of them are the same we had yesterday, and 80% of them for most people are negative in general. Okay, this is the default mode, right? 60,000 thoughts, 90% the same as yesterday, 80% negative thoughts. And so to shift that, as we're saying, to shift that, firstly, you got to get conscious where you're unconscious. Right?
Yes.
And a lot of people don't realize, that they are in this pattern of evolving the same story, same old story, and it actually doesn't have to be hard. It's actually very simple. The simplest things in life are often the best, right?
Yeah. It's about that. Yeah. It's raising your consciousness. And that's part of that, self-awareness every day. When you ask me, well, what do I do? It's even something like when you automatically respond, having that pause and go, okay, what are 3 other ways that someone else could even respond? Even if you can't imagine what I do, what are different ways of approaching a certain situation so that you can start challenging your views? Because so many views, it's because of the way you were raised or, what you've always thought before. But like even what I thought yesterday, I can change my mind. I can have a new perspective and I want to learn and grow. And sometimes I go through all of that and go, no, I still believe that. And other times I go, oh my gosh, what was I thinking before? And so exactly that is challenging the default, right? Or knowing if I'm going to have a default, I actually want to be in charge of what that is, right? I want to own that. I want to know, I want to have clarity around, what I value and what I allow into my space and what energy I give out and what I think. Exactly. If I've got that many thoughts that are just rinse and repeat, oh my gosh, like I actually want to be happy with that, because otherwise I'm not going to end up in a different space, right? Our future is our sum of today. So if that's actually what we think, then you're going, are you actually going to achieve your dreams? And if you want to dream big, bold, amazing things to happen in your life with yourself and those that you love and the businesses that you're in, then you actually need to go, is the way I think going to actually help me position myself in that way? And if it's not, start start flicking a few things. And it requires that consciousness, though, because that default is very strong, right? It's just so powerful.
Yes. Yes, and we've been brought up to live in drama. Let's face it. You just watch Hollywood, watch the mainstream news, watch the dramas. I mean, even the fact they're called dramas. You know how many TV dramas are there? It's like drama, drama, drama. Some people all they know of their life is drama. If there's no drama, they'll just create drama, right? So isn't it interesting for a lot of people, right? Just get conscious where you create drama in your life, right? It doesn't have to be that way. And if you see the Out of Shadows documentary, which has been had about 10 million views in a month when it came out last year during COVID, and then got taken off YouTube. This is talking about the brainwashing that has been happening in Hollywood and mainstream media for a long time, and people are starting to wake up to it. It's really interesting. So Out of Shadows documentary, check it out. You will find it's been taken down, put back up, taken down. You might find it on Vimeo or BitChute or some alternative channels out there. Out of Shadows, very powerful documentary. And one of the first line is, why do we believe what we believe? Why do we believe what we believe? It's very, very interesting. Absolutely love it. We have some more comments here. Sonia says, big tummy, that's me. I love myself, but my belly. But my belly. It's funny you say that, Sonia, because I have a bit of a belly too, I must say. And you know what I've been thinking, when I get out in the ocean, it actually keeps me warm. I'm very grateful for my belly, because it's like, whales wouldn't be fat if they didn't need to keep themselves warm in the cold waters. That's what I would guess anyway. I would say that a little bit of fat is actually good as a bit of reserve food in case the Hunger Games happen again, right? We need reserve food and we need something to keep us warm. That's my excuse, Sonia. That's what I'm sticking with on why I've got a belly, and it's voluptuous. It's nice to have curves.
Oh, that's right. Own your curves, sweetheart.
And Sonia says, Bali, I invite everyone to come here. Thank you, Sonia. Thank you. I'd love to go to Bali. I've got a friend over there.
Let's do a girl trip to Bali. Let's all go and with Sonia as soon as we can get out and about.
As soon as we're out, Sonia, we are knocking on heaven's door.
Bali wouldn't know what's going to hit it.
Exactly. Look out. Look out. Here we come. Here we come. Love you too, Annie. Oh, so sweet. Christiana, and Sonia says, Christiana Tudor, miss you. Oh, Christiana says, miss you and love you too. Oh, so much love happening in the chat. Oh, love you guys. Oh, so beautiful. This is just a love fest today. Sue says, I was brought up in a Christian household. I've always had trouble keeping hold of money in the past. I went past a church today that had money is the root of all evil. That is a view I now have to correct and switch. Oh, great insight there, Sue.
Oh my
money
goodness.
is the root. It's actually the love of money is the root of all evil. The love of money.
Yes,
is the root
that
of
is
all
so
evil.
true. Oh,
yes.
So reach out to me. I've just gone and launched a empowered money mindset course on my platform. And so I will give you a little freebie pass because you have been here today, Sue. So just reach out to me and I'll pop you in that, because that's it. It's the love of money, right? And why loving it? Because that actually becomes the drug. That's the focus in all the wrong ways. Whereas I tell you what, I'm at the other view, and I got raised in a Christian household too. And I actually go and challenge that and go, oh my gosh, no, I want to be as successful as I can be so that I get to choose how I use that money, right? And then that just gives me abundant opportunities, so whether I use that then selfishly, just on myself and my own lifestyle, or I then have the opportunity to empower women globally like I do. I give out to charities, I help people, I send care packs, whatever you do. Oh my goodness, it's actually the opposite. And I think that's it. With one word missing, isn't that amazing how we just get a distorted perspective, and what a barrier that is. That view on money is then creates such a limiting belief or such a fear. I was like, the amount of people who aren't successful because they go, yeah, they actually at the end of the day, you only ever earn what you believe you're worth or your attitude towards it, right? And so it then just sort of stops you. I don't want to be one of those terrible people who earn money. But I tell you what, there's a lot of amazing, very, very wealthy people who then have the opportunity to just be a blessing to this world. So love that comment. Thank you so much for sharing it.
Yes, absolutely. And there's so many other sayings around money. I mean, it's such a big issue for a lot of people, that, I'm not made of money, or money doesn't grow on trees, like we've heard all these kind of sayings, right? And it's almost like money has been demonized. And I think partly is because there have been a lot of wealthy people over time in the past who have been very nasty people. However, at the same time, there have been those who've had a lot of money that have also done a lot of good. So it's all about, what do you want to focus on? And the way I look at it is, and actually my views on this shifted when I became involved with Excel, was Extraordinary Lives, which is a social network group. And it was all about creating millionaires to help give back to communities and help create a better life for everyone. And I love that concept. And it was really there that I started to notice more of actually wealthy people actually doing a whole lot of good. And the wealthier you are, the more you can help others and the more you can, help yourself, obviously. And so it's all it's a shift really of how we view wealth, because, a lot of people have shame or guilt, or they don't, this tall poppy syndrome and glass ceiling and all of this sort of thing, is that, people don't want to stand out. They might get picked on, or, they might not be liked by their friends, and all these kind of subconscious fears can come up for people when it comes to attracting wealth, financial wealth.
But also, like you said before, of how easy it is for us to have these default beliefs based on like a few people that you've seen, in the whole planet, we've made a belief based on just a few people who've earned a lot of money and been horrible with it or not shared it or whatever, just because we believe they should have. Now, one, they can do whatever they like and we need to own our own self. But two, it's amazing that that shows a pattern of, the way we're presented a story, the way it's marketed, the way it's given to us. Look at even on the, even if you don't use finance as an example, even the news, you're watching this and the virus pictures are everywhere, and now they're worried that people are going to have extra anxiety. And you go, well, if you didn't have all those virus pictures swinging around your newsroom, half the kids wouldn't have anxiety disorder going, oh my God, are we all going to die of a virus? And so, the way the world packages things has an incredible effect of what we then create as our default belief. So it's like, also, if we've got that, once again, awareness, thanks, Sue, and also then go, okay, well, I'm going to challenge that. If I did, have that opportunity to then earn more or whatever, what would I do with that money? And what are my opportunities? If I'm comfortable that I'd then be able to use it in the ways that I would love to live and be, then, then opportunities will come by you, because then the desire to then do good with it will then create that desire to then earn more, right? So for all the right reasons. So once again, we all live our own truth, and we can then create a situation that then will benefit that story. It's a story that you tell yourself and the story that you believe.
Yes, absolutely. So true. And Sue says, thank you. That would be great. She'd love that. And Christiana has kindly put in their Empowered Money Mindset course. She's put the link there, anniegibbons.com. For Empowered Money Mindset. So I presume that's for sale on your website?
Yeah, it's for sale on my website. But Sue, because she's here today, she can just have a freebie. So reach out to me, Sue, and I'll pop you in.
Awesome. And so now everyone's saying they want one too. So that's awesome, Sue. Well done. Fantastic. And
you pays to share.
Pays to share, absolutely. And yes, much love to you all, Christiana. Thank you, Christiana. Much love to you, beautiful lady. And here she says, Christiana, they say that the more money I make, the happier I'm going to be. In fact, it's vice versa. The happier I am, the more money I make. Yes. That's about being, and then you will have, right? Being, doing, then you will have.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Happier I am, the more money I make. It's so true. And if you want to be miserable, then have a pity party with other miserable people. But most people are attracted to the light. They're attracted to happiness, to vibrancy, that people are drawn to that, unless they are sort of in that very low vibration state where they are depressed. And there are a lot of people depressed, and I've had depression in the past. I've had 4 friends take their own lives by the age of 45. So I also know what that's like. And if you are feeling down right now, please reach out. And there are a lot of amazing groups out there that can support you. We have Beyond Blue. We have the Are You OK Day. There's so many great organizations that can help you if you're feeling down, or reach out to someone and connect. In fact, I did a great interview on Media Queen TV with a lady called Tracy Corman. We talked about how to overcome abuse and depression. We gave our strategies on how we overcame abuse and depression, and if you watch that, you will know you're not alone in this. It's a very common thing that people have low moments. It will happen. It's just a matter of how quickly you will come out of those low moments. And Annie, I'd love to hear from you here. I know we've already talked for nearly an hour and 15 almost. It's crazy. This has gone so fast. But I am very curious for you. What is one of your lowest points in life, and how did you come out of that?
Oh, I've had a few pretty bad low moments. So I was a victim of sexual assault when I was 11, and then once again when I was 15. And so being in that horrendous state that you weren't allowed to speak up, and then when I finally did, then people didn't believe me, and people that you should be the first to believe you. So to and then even though my family didn't believe me, then I told someone at school, the school counselor, and they told me that I shouldn't be making up stories. So when you actually just get your whole essence stripped and go, wow, why do people have a view of me that isn't who I am? And to be able to have that journey of trauma at a very young age, that then sent me into, a cycle of anorexia, and definitely mental health challenges through, most of my teens actually. And then it wasn't until I then sort of married and then started my own family, and then I realized, I've really got to start having this ownership of who I am, and am I going to be a victim, and am I, even though you want people to suffer, you want them to pay for what they've done, you want all that. So I realized the narrative of, I want that, and I still would like that, and I think, and that's why I'm a champion now for people, women particularly, to be empowered globally, to be able to overcome those challenges, to have a support tribe. That's why I have a women's group, a Facebook group called Women Collaborating Globally, so that we can actually, if you don't have a tribe yet, if you don't have someone, that positive energy with you, you can just join one for free. People are there for you. People can give you a leg up. People will believe you. And so that challenge for me then just went, throughout my life, in all my down times were related to that. Well, why wouldn't I be believed? Why would people think I'm making things up? Why, and that I was therefore the problem, because the truth meant that it created problems, right? If you tell your truth, it creates problem with family, with their view that you're now ruining their bliss blom of what life's supposed to be, and you're a liar. It then attacks my, for me, it then attacked my character, because if you're not telling the truth, then you're telling lies, and so how does that affect you? And it does affect, it did definitely affect for me, my, that psyche, that view of self-worth, and that you're not good enough, and that you're the problem, and things like that. So I struggled on and off through a long period of my life. And so it was that, for me, it's like that, those low times have actually helped me to go, okay, I do have a choice, and it's really hard. It is very hard for anyone who's currently in that circumstance to actually get to a stage and go, okay, well, who's going to, I have to own my own story. I have to own my future. I can't change the past. I can't change terrible things that happen. And terrible things happen to good people all the time. And is it fair? No. And does it suck? Yes. And is it sad? Very. But we can also go, okay, well, we can only be empowered to go, well, what can I do in my own circumstance? What can I be known for? What can I be proud of? What legacy can I lead? And what can I learn about myself to be the best version of? And also, that's driven my passion to then go, well, what can I do in this space to make sure that people feel more empowered, that if I come across someone in that circumstance, I'm their biggest fan. I will champion with them. I will be there for them, so that their voice is always heard, because their voice is valued. Their voice it needs to be heard, and it not just needs to be heard, it needs to be accepted. It needs to be, and then love needs to come back to that. Whatever your message is, if you're hurting, you should get an immediate love back to you. Even if people don't understand, if they don't even know what to say, you can still be loving, or even, as you've pointed out before, put them in touch with other organizations, professionals, people who do know that. So I think we all have an opportunity. So I know that's kind of a bit heavy on you, but I think we've all had definitely challenges. I've had friends suicide. I've had 6 friends die of breast cancer, 6 in my lifetime. Like, that is insane. And so, That's right. When you live life and you embrace, that's the thing. Your heart breaks. You have fear. What if that happens to me? We had, even when my kids were growing up, the girl across the road overdosed and died, and you suddenly have this thing happening across the road, and stuff happens. Life is really confronting and hard when you really live and breathe it. But it's about saying, okay, well, how will I therefore be strong enough that I am steering my own ship in this current of life, right? Am I going to get blown away around? Am I going to then get brought down all the time? Am I going to be valuing my worth based on other people's beliefs or measurements, or waiting for their approval, or just comparing myself against them? Or am I actually going to build myself, my own little temple, and around my values and the way I want to live my life? And you don't have to be everyone's cup of tea, and that's fine, to actually get to a stage and go, yeah, no, I'm assuming if I'm actually living my best self, I wouldn't be. And that's totally fine, because that's right, getting to a stage where you are happier in your own skin, with all your flaws, with your little bellies and your bits and pieces, and that's okay. And following your passions, and even if someone else thinks they're too much, not enough, whatever, doesn't matter, because you're actually I know that for me, I've got that success, balance, and happiness right. And that's what I encourage everyone else listening in. Well, what is that cocktail for you? What is that little recipe of success, balance, and happiness, which has to be strong enough to navigate you through those challenges? Because life challenges will happen, right? And they do for all of us. And so I think that's been my biggest learning in life, is actually just to go, all right, I'm going to be captain of my own ship, and I'm going to make sure that I steer it in the direction, and I'm going to be strong enough to navigate the waves and the wind, so that I will get to the destination. And the journey might be rocky, and I'm okay with that, and I might get blown off course every now and then, but I'll reset. And I'll do all that stuff that we were talking about before. I'll assess and I'll monitor, because I have to be able to be loving and gracious enough to be flexible when things do happen that I want to be, and I will get taken out my time and my energy, but for the right reason. But when it's for the wrong reason, I'll go, no, don't have time for that. I have to recorrect, because I want to be purpose-driven and intentional in my thoughts and my actions.
Amazing, Annie. Wow, what a story. Thank you for sharing that with us. And life is like a roller coaster ride. And I think the older we get, sometimes we see more people dying around us. I lost about 8 friends 1 year, and 7 of them under the age of 60, unexpectedly, a few cancer, suicide, just all sorts of things. And that's the thing, that the older we get, the wiser we get, that we realize how fragile life is, and how, a third of people die by the age of 65. Now, 65 comes around pretty damn quick, right? So, and that's why I think sometimes the years go faster as we get older. If we're really loving our lives and making the most of it, the years can go faster as we want to do more with our lives and fit more in. And even with the current circumstance with this COVID pandemic and whatever's been happening, even with all of that happening, there is still so much we can be grateful for, and so much love that we can give ourselves and others, which I think is at the essence of everything. It's either love or fear that we are coming from in life, and it's all a choice. It's a choice as to where we're going to come from and how we're going to do life. Now, I have shared in here the link for the How to Overcome Abuse and Depression interview that I did with Tracy Corman. It's we both got quite teary at different points in this. She shared things with me she'd never shared before. I've known her for 15 years. Tracy runs Two's Company International, a matchmaking service on the Gold Coast, been going 26 years this year. Very dear friend of mine. We also do a comedy duo called the Fiddly Gigglers, and we started the Gold Coast Business Laughter Club together a few years ago. Amazing lady, and that is a very powerful interview for anyone who is feeling depressed. You will definitely get something from that interview. Highly recommend checking that out. Christiana says, Annie, you're a thriver, a champion. Absolutely. She sure is. And Christiana's also put the link in there for Women Collaborating Globally Facebook group. So check that out for the beautiful Annie here. It's been such a pleasure talking to you, Annie. I could just keep chatting with you. It's been an amazing interview. And you do have your own podcast, and you interviewed me on that podcast. Can you tell us a little bit about your podcast?
Yeah, my podcast is called Memoirs of Successful Women. So I just interviewed and released the beautiful Aldwyn's podcast interview just this week. So definitely check that out. It's on my website, anniegibbins.com. And also, yeah, just Google Memoirs of Successful Women and you'll see Aldwyn, or she might even just post the link right here and right now so that you can listen in on her story. And that's it. We met just on Sonia's a different summit, a online streaming summit, and that's what I love about when you're living, leaning into your best self and the things that you're interested in. Suddenly we meet up and just connect and chat, and then we've both been on each other's programs, and I absolutely love that, because you continually learn and get inspired, and you find out what other people are doing in their space, and then you find more links, and that's what it's about. It's actually just being on this fun journey. So I totally love my podcast, and I love my Facebook community, my tribe. My tribe's called the Transformation Academy Tribe. That's my learning platform. So, and I do coaching and online courses. And so, yeah, I absolutely love it. So I reach out anyone listening in if you just want to connect and be more of the best version of yourself. And just pretty much I help people definitely be more, achieve more, and earn more, but take them from where they are to where they dream to be. And it doesn't have to be the biggest mountaintop. It doesn't have to be the biggest senior job. It's actually just going, you know what, I just like some stepping stones. I'd like to be feeling like I'm moving, like we said before,
Yes.
that big step of just stepping in. So it's, sometimes that's the biggest thing of just going, okay, if I could do one big brave step, what would it be? And sometimes then you get that fear kicks in, as we know, and you don't know what that next step is. But, that's what, I do. I help you do the stepping stones on that journey. And the most important thing is actually just holding your hand as you do it. It's a done with you model. And so many people haven't had people to do something with them. And so that's where the value is on all of these tribes. And I've loved sharing with you and your community today. So thank you so much. And you are such a joy to bring out so much love and support to your community. Absolutely fantastic. I love what you do here in Media Queen TV.
Oh, thank you, Annie. And who would have known that we were once neighbours, living 5 minutes from each other, and now I'm 1,000 kilometres north on the Gold Coast. But who would have guessed?
It's a funny world, isn't it?
Who would have guessed from Seaforth to North Balgowlah? I used to walk through Seaforth. In fact, I used to work in Seaforth when I was 16 years of age. I worked at a place called Charcoal Chicken, would you believe, in Seaforth.
Oh, that's across the road from my house. Well, it's not now. It'll be a barista now. There's a zillion coffee shops. But I do remember Charcoal Chicken. Isn't that amazing that in a previous life I would have just walked past you and went, there's that girl working at Charcoal Chicken.
Amazing. When I was 16, yeah, actually 15, I might have been 15. I got kicked out of home actually, and I was, that's a whole other story. I got kicked out of home, and I was earning a measly little wage to pay my $50 rent a week and living in this really seedy little place in Manly. Anyway, I got back on the roller coaster ride of life, I'll say. I went through a bit of a downer there in my teenage years and came back up again. So if you want to hear more about that, go to the Memoirs of Successful Women podcast.
That's right. For future episodes, tune into mine. We can just keep going back and forth.
So yes, interesting times. Definitely a whole other lifetime ago. It was about 30 years ago actually now. So amazing. And I'm so grateful for all the ups and downs and rounds and this amazing journey of life. And, there's such a gift that we all have to be here on the planet at this time where there is so much change happening. And it's a real opportunity now. If you choose to see it that way, it is an opportunity for you to help lift the energy on the planet with whatever you're doing. You can, you're either going to come into the room, you're going to lift the energy, or you're going to bring the energy down wherever you are, whether it's with family, with friends, with clients. And so, I choose lifting the energy because I like it better there. I'm happier in that space. I'm happier when I'm feeling love as opposed to fear. That's what I choose, and that is what I send to everyone watching this right now. Thank you so much for joining us. Please stay connected. You've got anniegibbins.com. Check her website out there. Also, you can see what I'm up to at linktree/Aldwyn. I'll pop that into the chat here. And what are you grateful for watching this right now? We have the Global Good News Challenge happening. You can start your 10-day challenge anytime, between now and the 13th of October, wherever you are in the world. Check out the Global Good News Challenge Facebook page. Pinned to the top of the page is all the details, absolutely free. You just share your name, what you do, 3 things you're grateful for, and a piece of good news every day for 10 days for October. And you can start it tomorrow. Feel the difference when you share gratitude. It's one thing to think about or write about it. When you're sharing it, speaking it out, it is so powerful. So we have that. We have Free Publicity Secrets Masterclass. I've got a social media masterclass coming up. We've got lots of exciting things. So just stay tuned with Linktree/Aldwyn. Connect whatever platforms you're on, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, all the major platforms, even TikTok. That can be one hell of a time warp, TikTok. You can really lose yourself in that place. And what about you, Annie? Where's the best place? We've got AnnieGibbins.com. And how else can we support you?
Yeah, just go to anniegibbins.com. I'm also, you'll then find my Facebook and my Instagram and bits and pieces, but it's the easiest way. Once you come in and basically just connect us for my newsletter, you'll get a raw magic news every week, and then that will then make sure that you don't miss any of my amazing episodes, like my latest one with Aldwyn, and it'll also show you the free challenges. I have free challenges and master classes going all the time. So yeah, come and visit, and I'll make sure that you feel very, very welcome.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Annie Gibbins, there it is, anniegibbins.com. Check her out. Also, come over here to Media Queen TV. If you haven't subscribed yet, I've got over 700 videos on there now. My goodness, crazy. I'll just keep pumping them out. I just love it. So, a video a day, just about. So if you want to see some more inspiring TV, inspiring truth and good news, go over to Media Queen TV. Subscribe if you haven't already. Love to connect with you there. Sending you all lots of love. Thank you so much for everyone who joined us on the live. So great to have all your comments. For those watching the replay, please pop in the chat. Where are you from? What are you grateful for today? Love to hear from you. And any tips that you have around this very hot topic we have been talking today about with the amazing Annie Gibbins from Sydney, how to achieve success, balance and happiness. Any final words from you, Annie?
Oh, I think just dream big. Dream big. Just start being bold enough to go, oh my gosh, what do I actually dream? Don't ask for what you expect. Ask for what you'd actually love, right? And I think if you just embrace that concept just start tomorrow and just go, right, okay, what do I actually dream to achieve in every little situation? Your mind will start shifting. So, and just love the skin you're in. Be you.
Yeah, love that. Thank you so much. Because the number one regret of the dying is living a life not true to themselves. So being you may sound simple. However, maybe not so easy for some people. So just be you. We'll keep putting it out there. And as Gandhi says, be the change you wish to see in the world. And as I say, shine bright and light up all those around you. Thank you so much, Annie. Thank you for watching. And have a beautiful day or night wherever you are in the world. We will see you again soon. Bye for now.